Welcome to CoursePlay, Lesson 4, the Courses Pad. If you remember back to a previous lesson when we added a new user, one of the values we had to set was the value for the default pad, and as a user that value was courses. This was going to be the page that anybody logging in as a user would see first of all when they logged into CoursePlay. So today we're going to customize that page and add a new value that will allow the user to play one of the SCORM packages that we set up in a previous lesson. So first thing we need to do is locate the courses pad. When you extracted your files, you would have got a whole load of folders and files. Now don't worry, because mine's got a few extra because I'm a developer, but the folder you're looking for is the templates one. So if you open templates, you will see some package folders and some pads folders. Now you've already used the admin pad, you've already used the default pad, that's the login one, you've used the package uploader pad, and you've already used the user manager pad to create new users. Today we're going to use the courses pad, and it's an imp file, so it's going to load into Opus Pro. And all of these were designed with Opus Pro 9.75, so you will need at least that version. The first page you'll come to is the verify page. That needs to remain on every single publication you create, as it allows the user to be verified before using the pad. The second page is the menu page, which will either take you to the browse page here, or it will display a results PHP file. So let's go to the browse page. Let's load it up, and on here you have the default layout for launching courses for your user. You'll see a variety of frames, launch buttons and progress buttons. Now you can customize this page however you want. So for example, if you've only got one course, you can get rid of the rest of those. You can change how this looks, you can change the style of the buttons. What you can't change are several of the scripts. Don't delete the main script. There's a script on this frame here, the course 1 frame. Don't delete that, the show and left click script. And there are scripts on these two buttons, the My Progress button and the Launch button. All those must remain, and the two buttons must remain inside the courses 1 frame, because they're all going to use a particular value that you set to launch a specific package. That value is set on the frame, the courses 1 frame or courses 2 frame, courses 3 frame, they're the ones you deleted, and it's on the on show script, and that value is here, the SCO ID value. And if you remember back to the previous lesson when we uploaded our course, we saw that in the report for our package, and that SCO ID value was 1. So you need to set that frame to 1 and apply. Now once it's set to 1, both of those buttons will pick up that value when the course is run, and it will allow you to launch that specific package. If you have more packages that you want to launch from this particular page, then simply duplicate the courses 1 frame and change that value to the SCO ID of whichever package you are trying to launch. So we're simply going to leave it like that. As I said, you can customize it, change the size, the layout, change the images, the colors, remove the bits that you don't actually want that aren't needed. If it's part of another setup for your presentation that you're going to use, change it all to that, as long as you leave this frame and those buttons with the script somehow, whatever style they are, that's fine. Now once we've changed them and set our SCO ID, we need to publish. Take note of where you're publishing it to. And it's published without errors. You'll now need to upload that file to your server. So I'm going to use the FTP client that I've been using previously. Here on the left side are all my files and folders from the client, from the CoursePlay extraction, and see there's the templates folder I was in a moment ago. I published to the pads folder, which is here, and published it into the courses folder. We'll see various files in there already. That's the file that was already created. These are the associated files that work with that file, and we already have an index file in there, and what we'll need to do is we'll need to delete that before we carry on. So I'm going to need to rename this to index because CoursePlay uses the index files to find them more quickly, and then I'm going to need to go to the right hand side and locate the associated folder. So paths, courses, see there's the index file. I'm going to copy that to here. It'll upload in a moment. There we go. And now we're ready to test. So let's go back to CoursePlay. Now I can test as an administrator, but I'm actually going to log in as a standard user that will go by default to that courses page. So I created a user called Charlie, whose username is C. Williams, and I'm going to log in as Charlie. He's come to that default courses pad, see pads, courses, and it found that index file, which is this one here. At the top we can see I'm logged in as Charlie, and we can see that he was a user. We can check the results, but he hasn't taken any courses yet, or we can go to that next page. As you can see, that's the page that we created in Opus. The SCO ID 1 was set on here, and we have a choice. We can either look at My Progress, which will go away and check the database. We can see that it's found the SCORM Basics exemplar. That's the value that's pulled from when you set it in Opus when you publish, and it's not been taken, there's no time. So we can either close the progress dialog or we can launch directly from there. For now we'll close that. We can also launch from the main page here, so I'm going to click launch, and it's loaded the SCORM player into this window. We have several options. We can go full screen, we can bring up a SCORM debug window if we need to analyze the calls between our package and the LMS, or we can actually hide these headings if we don't want to see them at all. I'm going to leave them there for today. So first thing I need to do on this package is click to initialize the SCORM connection. It's attempting it now. I'm going to click to say hello, so it should find me. Oh, it's found me. Hi, Charlie Williams. Going to add a bookmark. Save that. Okay, so these are just some random questions to test this package. Took part in a quiz. What do you think I should score? I'm going to score 25. Need some practice. And I'm going to click to commit my score data. Now the module is over. How did I do? I failed. Click to end the SCORM communication, and it's ended. Bye, Charlie. So now if I try and click it again, it's telling me what I need to do is close the tab because the SCORM's closed. So if I go back to my progress, I can now see that I actually failed it. That was the score I took, and there was no actual time setting in this package, so it still remains at 0. I'm just going to very quickly go back to the previous page before we actually launched our sample page, and I'm going to bring up the results. PHP report, and this is a cut down version of the report that you actually saw in the previous lesson, more user friendly for standard users. Tells me that the lesson status was failed and that the score was 13. Close that. So if we briefly just go over what's actually happened. First of all, in the previous lesson we uploaded a package and we saw on the report that the SCO ID was 1. We then went into the template and we loaded the courses template. We loaded that into Opus and we loaded up the frame course 1, and on course 1 there was the SCO ID on the on show action, and we changed that to match our SCO ID from our package report. We saved and we published, and then we, using an FTP client, renamed that to index.htm and uploaded it onto the corresponding CoursePlay folder on our server. We logged into CoursePlay as a standard user, Charlie, whose default pad had been set as courses, and that brought us to this page. We had an opportunity to either see a PHP report of Charlie's results, which he didn't have any at the time, or we had the opportunity to load his sample courses. The sample courses brought us back to the page that we'd customised in Opus and gave us an opportunity to either see the progress of a specific course or to launch that course into the SCORM player. We launched the course into the SCORM player. That loaded the SCO from the package. We worked our way through that package. When the package was completed, we then went back to look at our progress both here and on the results. And that's all there is to customizing the courses pad.